Hey there, everybody. Parks Asa here with Invent Global, and I'm joined by Insanity, the returning mid laner for Immortals heading into 2021. Thank you so much for meeting me on this fine afternoon amidst the off season. I know it's
Yeah,
just so busy for you guys. You've just got so much going on. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've just been sort of chilling, enjoying my off season. I just recently started playing League again. I took like a couple weeks break because my wrists were sort of getting sore or hurting a little bit, but
Ooh,
making sure that's taken care of.
yeah, good luck. So you recently got announced. The whole Immortals roster recently got announced a week or so ago. So I really want to talk about it. First off, let's talk about you. Um, you are the sole returning member of the 2020 Immortals squad. So I hope that feels good. I hope that gives you some confidence. But how are you feeling about the new team and heading into the new year?
Um, Obviously, me being like the sole returner of last season's roster is one thing. Like it does give me some confidence, but it's sort of expected. Um, I think that this whole roster is going to do great things in the long run, and that's my sole expectation so far. I think they're all great people, very, very fun to work with. And I'm just excited to get started into the season and start practicing with them, honestly.
Have you gotten like much time with them? Like, are y'all just kind of like chatting every once in a while?
We're just kind of chatting, talking to each other in a group chat. That's pretty much it. But they all seem like funny stand-up guys. So I know Revenge from a very long time ago. We've been friends since the beginning of time, like in League at least, since we've known each other in Hilo. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I even played on a team with him in like what was it, 2016 or 2017 for open qualifiers for the Challenger League, and that was a long time ago. We came in, I think, second place, so we didn't make it, but it was a good run. It was fun. I think he's a great teammate, and I'm excited to see him on the LCS squad as well.
Yeah, I think it's a fun mix of people. I guess just to clarify, so for people watching this interview, the roster has been confirmed as Revenge in the top lane, Xerxes in the jungle, Insanity obviously playing mid, and then Raze and Destiny in the bot lane. The old OPL duo. As far as them, have you like gotten to see much of them play? Obviously, Destiny is coming from Europe from last year, but they don't count as imports anymore thanks to the OPL closing. So,
I
what are your
believe
thoughts?
I've seen much more of Destiny's gameplay than I have of Ray's, but I think from what I saw at Worlds with Ray's, I think he was a pretty strong player overall, like very consistent, and I think his champion pool is also intriguing. But Destiny, I actually played with him a decent amount in Worlds Boot Camp in 2019 when it was in EU because he was there as well for Mammoth Gaming. I always ran into their players there, and I always thought they were like they're actually pretty good, and he's a funny guy too. He's very talkative, but I don't know. They both seem like great players, great people. I'm excited to work with them.
Yeah, for sure. What are your kind of goals and expectations, both for yourself, like as an individual mid laner, but also for the whole squad?
I guess for goals, I'm just trying to improve in every aspect that I can. There's like nothing I want to leave out. I just want to be a consistent player, and I want to show the world how good I can be. And I guess for the team, it's like a long run sort of goal. Like I want to just focus on working with these guys to get better and better every day. Even if we start out slow, even if we start out strong, it doesn't matter. I just want to get better and better. And I think honestly, I've even just worked with Andre a little bit here in the off season and just talking to him, I can see his head's in the right place. He seems like a very, very good coach. As well as the substance that he brings to the table, I take in very easily because it's something that I can I guess accept much easier than what I've had in the past. It actually has like meaning to it, I guess. Or it makes sense more than it did in the past, I guess. It's
Mhm.
the best way to put it.
That's good to hear. Yeah, definitely sounds good for growth. And kind of looking back, I mentioned you're the sole returner for the squad. What is your kind of like takeaway from 2020? Obviously, to recount really quickly, there was like a big change in the roster between spring and summer, and then another change a couple weeks later, and you came on and you played throughout the rest of the summer for him. What are your kind of thoughts about that?
Honestly, the whole thing was a mess coming into it. There's a lot of like problems going on, but I think for me, I learned so much from just playing with all these like veteran players like Apollo Hakuo, Xmithy. honestly, it would have been cool to work with Soaz as well, but I think working with Kieran was a great thing as well. He's a funny guy. I love him so much. But I think overall, I just took away being like a better team player, I guess, from that squad. And I don't think it was the best chance that I've been given yet, just because of all like the mess that was involved with it. I only got one split with these guys. I think if we had more, it could have been better. Like if it was from the start, I think it would have been great. But I think I'm just excited to work with a new group of people, learn some new things from people that have different perspectives that I have.
The other like really big thing for me as far as 2021 is concerned, obviously there have been a ton of pretty crazy roster changes, some pretty big retirements, and some other things like that. Uh, but most specifically, we're we're getting six NA mid laners, and most of them kind of like what how I look at them is like there's like a class of mid laners essentially that's kind of been in academy for a couple years. Um, and so, we've got Demonte, Pobelter, who've been around like in LCS for a little bit, Pobelter for a while. But then we have Saligo, Palafox, Ablaze Olive, and you all coming in. Bjergsen's gone. Randomly, we got Perks. So there's like kind of a crazy mix of mids right now. What are your thoughts about the mid lane specifically? What are your thoughts about kind of like finally the rise of NA talent? We don't just have like 8 European mids. What are you thinking?
I mean, I think it could either be really bad for the league or really bad for the league or really good for the league. It just depends on how these players, as well as myself, sort of learn from the higher tier mid laners, or at least the ones that people would consider to be higher tier, right? Like PoE, Perks, and then even Pobelter or Demonte, just playing against these players, if they can improve to their level and then even surpass them, I think that it could be really good for the league. Because I think all of these mid laners that are just joining the league from Academy, Ablaze Olive, Valafox, Saligo, they have really high skill ceilings. I think they've been good in Academy for a very long time. And it's kind of crazy that none of us have gotten a shot until just now, to me. Because I think they're all very, very talented. And I think if they all work hard, they can be very good players as well.
Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like that's going to be like one of the big things about the LCS this year? Do you feel like that's something people are going to like just be like, oh, like the NA mids again? Or do you think because there are six of you, maybe they'll calm down or they'll just be like, oh, well, they're rookies?
Um, I mean, I think honestly, most of the hype's just going to be around the rookies this year. Even though there are like, a few pretty good teams at the top, I think that people are mostly going to be excited about who's going to be the best performing rookies, right?
Mm.
I think they're going to be looking for stars among us.
Yeah. And any thoughts about, I mean, you said like the ones who would seem to be elite. So, like the 3 or 4, however many European mids that are there.
Yeah.
So like Perks, Jensen. What are your thoughts about like who's going to be the top? Because with Bjergsen leaving, it was like, oh well, it's Jensen for sure, and then it's like, well, Power of Evil's pretty good, and wait, Perks is here, and like, what's going on?
I think honestly, among I guess the elite European mid laners, I think the most underrated one is PoE. I think he is a really, really, really good overall player. I think that playing against him versus the other players, I don't know. I learn more playing versus him than playing versus the other ones. Like I think Jensen is a really good player. I just think he's really mechanically gifted, and that sort of makes him shine. But I think PoE is really, really, really smart in his gameplay, and it feels hard to punish him. And it always feels like he's finding ways to get leads and then carry those leads over to his teammates, or even just carry the game by himself, just because of his high damage numbers.
Yeah, that's very fair. Probably should ask about the items. I know you said you just started playing again, but do you have any thoughts about like mid lane meta slash item meta or anything?
I mean, the meta is going to be so different from now to when the season starts, just because of all the like. There's a lot of broken item combinations right now, such as like Imperial Mandate and Rylai's. On I don't know, for example, Aurelion Sol or Ari, it procs the same damage instance over and over again on one ability, which is really broken. But also, there's like you could go Luden's Muramana on mages, which is really random but really OP at the same time. It adds like 100 damage per spell, which is just completely nuts. Um, I mean, other than that, it just seems like it's gonna be back to the sort of similar meta, but it always creeps up every year. It's competitive, so the same things sort of show up all the time just because it's consistent, like Azir, Orianna, Syndra.
Mhm.
These champions are just mainstays. I don't think it'll change much this next year, but hopefully some new things come in at least.
And I guess, for the last question, just what are you really hoping for yourself? What are things we can expect of you? You've kind of already answered this earlier, but just to close us out, what should we see?
Um, just be consistent, fun gameplay. I want to be the player that, does eye-popping things, whether it's bad or good. I want people to know or like see me and think, wow, that player sucks, dude, or that player is really, really good. Nowhere in between. I don't want to be afraid to make mistakes on stage. I want to just be myself and hopefully be more consistent than I was last year because I think I made a lot of like very easy to make mistakes that can be fixed really, really simply.
Yeah, well, best of luck. That's really
Yeah,
fun.
thank you.
That's exciting. I think Perks probably would say something similar about himself. So maybe we'll see the two of you clash heads a couple times and you can come out on top. But best of luck. Thank you so much for the interview. And thank you all for watching. For more Invent Global content, hopefully we can find some more people to talk to in the off season. So check out our YouTube and follow us on Twitter and whatever else. Do you want to plug your Twitter or anything? Are you doing anything fun?
Nope, not doing anything fun. I'm actually just chilling on Twitter right now. So.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We will catch you next time.